Hey, what is up guys? I'm your boy Nick with Pick MMA. In this video we're going to be going over the LFA 170 full card breakdown. We're going to go over the main card first, we're going to go over the main event first, and then we're going to go downhill from there guys. Also, don't forget to hit the like button guys. I know I'm one of the few people that's even doing the predictions video for this card, and most of the people don't even do tape study for these cards. So I wanted to make sure that I do tape study for this card so we can go over the full card. And I don't want to just guess which fighters are going to win. So I was able to go back, do full tape study. I was able to take notes on these fights. And now I'm done doing tape study, and now I'm going to go make this video for you guys. So please, if you guys appreciate the grind, please hit the like down below and subscribe to the channel guys. We're trying to hit 400 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Okay guys, let's get into it now guys. Hey guys, in the main event of LFA 170, we have Talundzic versus Daniel Frunza. This is a really good main event. I really like Talundzic. I really want to see him in the UFC at one point. I think Daniel Frunza is a good test for him. Both of these guys they had about 7 or 8 fights in their pro career. I think both of them did have an amateur career also. Harris did have an amateur career and he's done pretty well. He's only lost 1 fight since going pro, and he's fought legit competition guys. Let's go over it. We're going to go over the stats first. So Talundzic is 6-1 overall in his pro career. He's 27 years old, 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 76.5 inch reach. He trains out of Pound for Pound Fitness and Elevation Fight Team. Elevation Fight Team, there's a lot of UFC fighters that train there too. So he's going to be taking on Daniel Frunza, who is 7-2 overall at 29 years old with 6 feet 1 inch tall. Both of these guys are 6 feet 1 inch tall. And I'm not sure about Frunza's reach. It doesn't say here. But let's go over the notes now guys. We're gonna go over Talundzic. He trains out of Factory X Muay Thai, which is a very high level gym to train out of. He has an amateur experience also. He went 8-1 in the amateurs. He went pro back in 2019. Most of his fights were in LFA. He went 5-1 in LFA, so he's been fighting in LFA against a pretty good level of competition. With 3 wins via submission, 2 wins via decision, and his only loss came by way of decision. He has good takedown setups. He set it up while using his striking. And he's not shooting desperate takedowns or anything like that we see from some guys. He has great back takes and transitions on the ground. He will move to mount and rain some ground and pound. He has nasty ground and pound, and he's gonna look for submissions after ground and pounding. He can strike too. Will throw some good leg kicks, body kicks, side kicks. He throws a lot of variety of weapons on the feet. But he does throw good jabs too, but he does leave himself wide open when he does strike. Throws good feints out before throwing anything. He is mostly a southpaw striker. He has good knees in the clinch too. It's good clinch work. He has good durability, shown good chin, never been finished in his pro career. I have seen him get dropped multiple times in fights before, but he's never out of a fight. He's an absolute junkyard dog. He was dropped twice by Gonzales in his last fight, I think it was. But he got right back up and dropped Gonzales after, and just hammered him, got him out of there in the first round. He was knocked out in his first amateur fight back in 2016. He started competing in MMA at 20 years old, so he's been competing in MMA since a very young age. He can get caught up in a brawl. He's more than willing to just trade hooks in the pocket. He's an absolute dog, man. He's very entertaining and fun to watch fight. In his only career loss, he was just kind of got outworked by a little bit by Brown. I think that was before his last fight. He got just kind of outpointed. He went 1-6 on his takedowns, so he wasn't having a lot of success against Brown with his takedowns. And Brown was able to land like 60 kicks on him, side kicks, leg kicks. Brown just kind of outworked him, and it was a close 29-28 unanimous decision for Brown. And he did drop the ball there as a pretty big favorite. I think it was over 2-1 favorite there. So it is what it is. Let's talk about his opponent, Daniel Frunza. Daniel went pro back in 2016, guys, and did have an amateur career also. He has not been all that active, to be honest. He has only had 9 fights since 2016. It says that he trains out of a UTC gym by himself, so I don't know if he's training by himself or with anyone else. But most of his wins are via knockout, so he has not faced the level of competition that his opponent has faced. But his last 2 wins are over some tough dudes. He's mostly just a striker, prefers to keep the fight standing. He does throw everything with fight-ending power. He's trying to take your head off with everything he throws. He throws nasty leg kicks, also throws good feints out before throwing his weapons. He will keep chipping away with the leg kicks if he's at range. He got knocked down by Bellato. I think it was Bellator with an overhand right. He was stunned and he let him jump back on his back, and he left his neck wide open. So he does have a hole in his game, and that's the rear naked choke. He's been submitted twice, I think, in the amateurs once and in his pro career. No, he was submitted both times in the pro career. I don't think he had an amateur career. He has been submitted twice, both by rear naked choke. So that's his that's the hole in his game. I mean, Talundzic is gonna have a grappling edge in this fight, and Talundzic mostly is a submission grappler. By the way, so Frunza, I mean, he is getting this big opportunity now in the main event because he was able to pull out a pretty big upset in his last fight over Fuller as a plus 240 underdog. So this dude an absolute dog. You can never count this guy out, even if he's an underdog, which he probably will be. I think he's going to be an underdog in this fight. I haven't seen the odds out yet, but once the odds do drop, I expect him to be like over 2-1 underdog. He did let Fuller jump on his back in the first round. He can leave his neck out, like I said earlier, to be snatched up in a guillotine too. He was I think Fuller had him in a guillotine too, but he didn't panic. And then they were kind of sweaty, so Fuller wasn't able to submit him there. The reason he was able to knock out Fuller was because Fuller was doing some stupid stuff, going for some high kicks in the pocket, leaving his chin wide open in the punching range, keeping his hands low, leaving his chin wide open against the cage. And Frunza just cracked him and slept him in the first round. So really good win for him there. That's why he's getting this big opportunity. But I am going to go with Harris Talundzic. I think Harris is going to be able to stay safe in the striking exchanges. And Harris has power too, man. He can definitely knock him down and jump on his back. I'm going to say Harris is going to get a first round submission over Frunza. This is a very good fight, man. Both these guys are in their prime. Talundzic is only 27 years old, and he trains with those guys over there with Brandon Royal and those guys. And he's a very good fighter, man. I can expect to see him in the UFC at some point. And he's mostly a finisher. I mean, he's finished the majority of his wins. And I think his last win, he finished the guy in the first round too. So you don't want this guy on your back. And I think if he does stun Frunza and Frunza leaves his neck wide open, I'm gonna say Harris Talundzic gets a rear naked choke in the first round. That's my pick, guys. Let's go to the next fight, which is the co-main event now. Guys, in the co-main event of LFA 170, we have Hayward Charles taking on Myktybek Orolbai. Yeah, Orolbai is a really good prospect out of Kyrgyzstan, and he's going to be taking on Charles, who's fights out of the United States. So America versus Kyrgyzstan. Let's get right into it, guys. So we have Hayward Charles. I mean, he's 18-14 and overall in his MMA career. He has plenty of experience. He's had over 32 fights in his MMA career so far, so that is a lot of experience. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So not the prettiest record, but I mean, he has a lot of experience. He's fought some good level competition in the regionals. He's 34 years old at 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 75.5 inch reach. He's going to be fighting Orolbai, who is 10-1 and 1 overall in his MMA career. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights out of Kyrgyzstan. And he's 5'10", but his reach is unavailable right now. I think I have his reach written down. Let's get right into it, guys. So we have Orolbai. He has fought against some high-level competition. He's a legit 10-1 and 1 prospect. He trains out of Team Alpha Male, so which is a very good gym with the Uriah Faber, who's a coach over there. He also fought Jalen Fuller, who's pretty tall at welterweight at 6 feet 2 inch tall with a crazy 80.5 inch reach. So he's fought some really tall and long frame opponents. So Orolbai is mostly a grappler who can strike just as well. His game is pretty much to take his opponents to get his opponents backed up to the cage, get that body lock inside trip to a takedown. He's a very good grappler. This is better because you don't leave your neck out in danger of any type of submission from your opponent. So your opponent can't get a guillotine choke or a ninja choke on you when you get an inside trip with the body lock. Instead of going for a double leg takedown or one single leg takedown. He's very smooth. He has very smooth transitions on the ground. He will go to side control. Doesn't have the best top control, but he will just let you work your way back up and take you down again. That's just like Khabib. He will pick you up and slam you down. This dude is very strong for the weight class. He doesn't look like he's that strong, but he is. He has that Khabib type of pressure and grappling where he will just hang on your back and draining you of your energy. So that's his style. He looks so calm and composed in fights. He has shown good cardio, never really seen him breathing hard at all, even later in fights. He has shown very well-rounded game. He will just break his opponents and eventually finding that TKO stoppage or submission later in fights. He can strike also. He has power in his hands, throws good 1-2s to side kicks, head kicks, body kicks. He throws everything on the feet. He will eat some jabs and right hands, but they're here and there, but he has good great chin. Never seems to even stun him at all. If he gets on top, he will throw some nasty ground and pound, man. He will finish you off. And this dude is vicious, man. He's really fun to watch. Let's talk about his opponent now, guys. His opponent, Hayward Charles. He has a lot of pro MMA experience. He's had over 32 fights. Has fought in a lot of regional promotions. He's mostly a grappler who can strike, but he has a lot of submission wins. He will throw with some power. Will throw good leg kicks, side kicks, spinning back kicks, but he does leave himself wide open to counters. Doesn't seem to be all that fast. He will look for a takedown. Doesn't have good control on the ground. He's mostly an opportunist, submission grappler. His striking defense is non-existent. Gets hit with everything that his opponents throw at him. His takedown defense is pretty horrible. He's more than willing to stay on his back and play that guard game. He's not really a guy who goes in there trying to implement a game plan. He's just the guy that just lets it all hang out. He has been finished in plenty of times, mostly a kill or be killed type of fighter, guys. This fight is going to be very fun to watch. I'm going to go with the Myktybek Orolbai. I think he's going to find a stoppage by TKO or maybe a submission. I'm going to say a TKO stoppage. I'm going to say in the second round for Myktybek Orolbai. And he's a really good prospect. I mean, he's going to be 11-1-1. And he's definitely a prospect I'm going to be keeping my eye on in the future. So that's my prediction for this fight, guys. Alright, guys, next up we have the featured fight on the main card. We have AJ Robb taking on Isaac Thomson. Let's look at the stats, guys. AJ Robb is 6-2 overall in his MMA career. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. His age is unavailable right here. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall. He fights out of 7-19 fight team. His opponent Isaac Thomson is 5-1 overall in his MMA career. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He fights out of Australia. He's 21 years old. At 5 feet 11 inches tall. He fights out of Team Alpha Male. Let's look at the notes, guys. We have AJ Robb. Let's talk about him first. He has fought a good level of competition. He's fought Mario Batista in his second pro MMA fights. Mario Batista is a top 20 ranked UFC fighter right now. I think even a top 15 ranked fighter. Mario Batista is the only one who was able to finish him via submission in the second round. AJ Robb is a good striker, throws heavy leg kicks. He has good boxing and will land shots to the body too. He throws everything with fight-ending power. He also will attack guillotine chokes if his opponent leaves his neck wide open when they're trying to take him down. His only 2 losses are to UFC fighters, Mario Batista and Hunter Jure, who went 2-2 in the UFC. Hunter Jure went 2-2, but isn't in the UFC anymore. He lost that fight to Hunter by decision. He's mostly a finisher, only going to decision twice. 3 of his wins are via submission, 2 wins are via KO TKO, and 1 win by decision, guys. You don't wanna play the guard game with this guy on your back. He will land some nasty leg kicks and finish you off via leg kicks if you just stay on your back and letting him kick your legs off. He has nasty ground and pound and is from top he's brutal. He can finish you off with ground and pound too. Let's talk about his opponent Isaac Thomson now, guys. Isaac Thomson has Muay Thai background. He's a very good striker, throws in combinations, very good speed. He will mix it into the body and end it with the leg kicks. He does throw feints out there before he throws anything out to keep his opponents guessing as to what's coming next at them. He has good teep kicks that he likes to throw to keep the range, to keep his opponents at distance. He controls range pretty well. He can fight on the back foot and also on the front foot. He will throw Superman punches also. I've seen him do that. He's shown good takedown defense. He will attack opponents' hand control right away and dig underhooks to stop them from getting him down to the ground. He will set up the head kick by going to the body and over, and then he will eventually go up top and knock you out with the head kick. He will be the cleaner striker in this fight. That's why I'm going to go with Isaac Thomson, but he's going to have to be careful. He can't get taken down here. And I do think he has a really good takedown defense. I mean, he's had plenty of fights in LFA. He's proven himself over and over. His only lost one fight to Dorian Ramos, where he was TKO'd in the second round. It is what it is. I mean, sometimes you're not always going to be perfect. But he has an amateur career also, even 2-0 in the amateurs. He's finished the majority of his wins. I mean, he has 4 wins by TKO. I'm going to go with the Isaac Thomson. I think he's going to get a... I'm going to say I don't know if he knocks him out. I mean, does he knock AZ Robb out? Robb hasn't shown the best cardio. Maybe I can see him knocking him out in the second and third round. I'm going to say Isaac Thomson gets a TKO via second round, guys. That's my pick for this fight. Let's go to the next one now. Guys, next up on the main card, we have Caio Machado taking on Ilyor Bakhtiyar Uulu, who's another prospect out of Kyrgyzstan. I'm really hyped to see these guys out of Kyrgyzstan. We have some good fighters coming out of that region right now, and they're really making their way into the UFC right now. Let's talk about Caio Machado, guys. He's 16-8 overall in his MMA career. He has the way more experience against Uulu here. Machado is 30 years old, at 5 feet 9 inches tall with a 72-inch reach. He trains at an already champion gym. His opponent Ilyor Bakhtiyar Uulu is 7-1 overall in his MMA career. I think his height, I do have his height here, 5 feet 11 inches tall. His reach is unavailable right now. He trains out of Chicago, Illinois. Let's talk about the notes that I have on Machado, guys. So Caio Machado, he's fought a lot of UFC fighters like Miles Johns, Nate Maness, who's a active UFC fighter right now. Miles Johns just got a win over that grappler. I can't remember his name. But yeah, all these fighters that he's fought, I mean, they're doing really well in the UFC. He's also fought Jamal Emmers. He lost to them all by decision, and one of them, I think he lost to one of them by TKO. He went pro back in 2011, so he has a lot of experience. He's at 24 fights in MMA. He has fought in most of the known regional promotions. He does have good durability. He does have some durability issues. He can be hurt and put away early in fights in the first round. Doesn't take shots to the body well. He has been TKO'd via body kicks a couple of times. He's been finished in 5 of his 8 losses, so majority of his losses are by finish. He has pretty good striking, has good knees in the clinch, will throw good leg kicks, but he does not stay technical, willing to just brawl it out and get wild in a firefight. He's more than willing to fight on the back foot. Striking defense needs a lot of work for him. He does have some good wins, has pulled some upsets over as an underdog before. He has fought 4 times in LFA, gone 1-3 in LFA, so not the best look for him there. His record is not pretty, but he will have the experience advantage here over his opponent in this fight. He still is only 30 years old, so maybe there's some improvements that he can make here. Let's talk about his opponent now, Bakhtiyar, guys. His opponent, who is 21 years old, that's his age, guys, 21 years old. We don't know his height. I think is on Tapology, right? Yeah, he's 5 feet 11 inches tall. So we do know his height. He's close to 6 feet tall, so he has a very long frame for this weight class. He's another fighter on this card out of Kyrgyzstan, but he trains out of Chicago, Illinois, like I said earlier. He's fought most of his fights out of that Octagon League. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of fighters coming out of the Octagon League promotion. His last 2 wins were over against guys with 5-0 records. The first one he beat via unanimous decision, and his last win was a close split decision win. He has not fought since last year in September, so maybe he could have some ring rust coming into this fight. But he's still very young. I'm sure he's really working on his game. This will be a huge step up in competition for him, going from beating guys who have less than 5 pro fights and fighting a guy with a legit 16-8 opponent who has been in there with some UFC fighters. He is mostly a striker, throws a lot of variety of weapons on the feet. He throws spinning back fists, spinning heel kicks, leg kicks. I mean, he throws everything that you can think of. He has very good hand speeds when he lets his hands go. He throws in combinations, good boxing, willing to engage in a firefight. Very fun to watch. He will look for his own takedowns sometimes, but he can get taken down himself. He was taken down by his last opponent, which will give his opponent some positions over him, thus making the fight close. That's why that fight was a split decision win for him. But he landed some good shots in that fight. His striking defense needs a lot of work. He does get hit a lot. He does show damage on his face, doesn't take damage all too well. His face does get bruised up, which is not a good look for the judges. He has a good chin though, his good durability, guys. Let's talk about my pick for this fight, guys. My pick for this fight is gonna be I think the 21-year-old Ilyor Bakhtiyar. I think he's gonna get it done. I'm gonna say he gets it done by decision. Could be a close fight because Caio, I mean, this dude is very dangerous. He has a lot of submission wins. I mean, look at the amount of submission wins. He has like 4 submission wins. So he's not fighting a scrub here. This is a big step up in competition for him. I know a lot of people are counting Machado out here. But I just like that Ilyor, I mean, he's going to be making a lot of improvements. I'm going to say he gets it done by decision. I think he's going to outstrike him. And he might get taken down here and there, but I think he should be able to get it done. We can expect to see some improvements from him. He's 7-1 overall. That's my pick, guys. Ilyor Bakhtiyar by decision, I think. Maybe you can find a stoppage too. I would not be shocked if you find the stoppage, but I think maybe, I mean, this dude gets hurt a lot by body kicks. In his last 2 finishes, last 2 losses, he was finished by KO, TKO. But Bakhtiyar hasn't shown a lot of finishing ability yet. I'm going to say Uulu gets it done by decision, guys. That's my pick, by decision. Alright, guys, next up we have the girls fight, the last fight on the main card now. This main card is pretty good. I'm excited to see how these prospects do on this main card. We have Nejra Repp taking on Shannon Clark, guys. Let's get into it. This is a flyweight matchup between these 2 girls. So Repp, she is 2-0 in her MMA career. She's out of Bosnia. She's 5 feet 4 inches tall with a 63 and almost 64 inch reach. Her opponent Shannon Clark is a prospect out of Canada. She's 5 feet 6 inches tall. She's gonna be 2 inches taller than Repp here, the Bosnian bombshell. Let's talk about the notes that I have on these girls, guys. So Nejra Repp, the Bosnian bombshell, she has had 2 fights in LFA. Both wins came by via knockout. I've had a hard time finding her fights. I found some clips on YouTube. She has that kickboxing upright stance and has very good hand speed, very good boxing, and throws everything with power. She will throw very good leg kicks from range where her opponents can't counter her leg kicks. She has very good tight, crisp striking in the pocket. Everything is tight. A good takedown defense. She's shown good takedown defense. I've seen her defend takedowns a couple of times. She will dig underhooks right away and break off the clinch. Nasty, because she does throw in nasty combinations when she has her opponents backed up against the cage. Very good shot selection by her. Will mix it into the body and right hook to an uppercut and end it with a left hook. She will keep the pressure and try to just overwhelm her opponents when she has them hurt. If this fight does end up on the ground, I mean, she will work her way back She will work her way back up right away. She's not the type to just stay on her back and run the clock. She's shown good cardio, has the stamina and enough in the tank to find a stoppage later in fights. I like what I've seen from her and so far, and I love girls that can finish fights. Her opponent Shannon Clark, guys, let's talk about her now. She has had a kickboxing background. She started training in kickboxing at a young age. She has had 3 pro MMA fights since going pro back in 2022. So she's been pretty active since last year. All of her wins came by via knockouts. She also did not have an amateur career. I think she did have an amateur career where she had 3 fights in amateurs and win 3-0. She's undefeated. Her best win was her last win in the amateurs where she defeated a 3-0 prospect who won. She won that fight by decision, unanimous decision. She's a prospect out of Canada, so I'm excited to see what she can do and how far she can take it. I'm not able to find a lot of her fights, but from her topology, we can see that she has been finishing her fights. She's been finishing the lower level opponents, but this is a step up in competition for her. Obviously, she has not been facing the best level of opponents out of that Canadian regional promotions. This fight will likely take place on the feed. I don't think either one of these girls will look to take the fight to the ground. They are both pretty good strikers. I know Repp has more sting in her punches, and she throws in combinations. I think Clark is a little bit more stiff on the feet, I think. But she can throw pretty good striking too. She's got pretty good striking. I'm not sure how good Clark's striking is, but knowing that she has been training in kickboxing since a young age, you gotta think that she's not gonna be outclassed on the feet. I think this fight goes the distance? I do, guys. I do think that they're gonna have a competitive fight. This is a step up for both of these girls, and I think we will likely go to decision in this fight, guys. I'm gonna go with the Repp here because I think she's just a little bit more crisp, and she's fought in LFA for her last 2 fights. and she's finished both of those girls. I just like the experience for her in LFA case. She's gonna be more comfortable. I think this is Clark's first fight in LFA, but this is not a fight that I'm super confident in. But most of the people are picking Repp too. I think I like what I see from her, but this is a test for her. This is definitely a big test for her. If she beats Shannon Clark, she's gonna be a good prospect and someone to keep an eye on. That's my pick, guys. I'm gonna go with the Repp, the Bosnian bombshell, by decision, guys. That's my pick. Guys, next up we have the featured fight on the prelims. We have Daniel Gonzales taking on Jordan Burkholder. Daniel Gonzales is 2-1 in his MMA career. He's 3-2, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He's had 3 pro MMA fights, going 2-1. He's 26 years old, 6 feet tall. His reach is unavailable. He trains at a 303 training center. He's going to be taking on Jordan Burkholder, who is 4-1 in his MMA career. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. 27 years old, at 5 feet 2 inches tall with a 61 and almost 62 inch reach. He trains out of Jackson Wink MMA, which is a very high level gym to train out of. I'm sure he's got a lot of UFC fighters there to train with. He's got guys like Johnny Bone Jones. I mean, what more do you need? I mean, he's got a lot of Russian prospects over there too that he's training with Carlos Condit too. I mean, he's got Greg Jackson as a head coach, so he's got everything going for him here. Let's talk about the notes that I have on Jordan Burkholder, guys. Jordan Burkholder, he trains out of Jackson Wink MMA, a very good gym, like I said earlier. He's had an amateur career with 4 fights against some good level competition. His best win was over a 10-2 opponent who he beat via decision. He has good striking, throws good leg kicks. He has decent boxing too, very well-rounded skills. He went pro back in 2022 in May. He's been very active since. He's had 5 fights since going pro in 2022 in May. He has finished 3 of his last 4 wins. All of his finishes came by way of a submission. He can leave openings on the feet. I have seen him get knocked down a couple of times, but by his last opponent, who was a very tall with a long range frame for the weight class. But Burkholder, he's very durable though. He has good recovery. He will get right back up, like he was never knocked down, if I'm being honest. But he's very tough dude, man. He has good double leg takedowns. He's very strong for the flyweight weight class. He has that stocky frame for the weight class. I mean, in this fight, he's taken on an opponent who also is very tall, has a very tall frame at 6 feet tall. Maybe this could give him some problems, but not being able to land his shots from range, maybe it could be an issue for him if he can't find the range. But let's talk about his opponent, Daniel Gonzales, guys. He has had an amateur career also. He went 3-4 in his MMA amateur career. He was finished a couple of times in the amateurs also, so there are questions about his durability. He went pro back in 2022. He's had 3 fights since going pro. His 2 wins are over opponents who are 1-3, so he hasn't faced anyone all that good. I think the LFA is pretty much throwing Burkholder a bone here. They're trying to build him back up after he lost his last 5-year decision. Gonzales doesn't have much knockout power. All of his wins came by way of submission, so Burkholder doesn't really have much to worry about on the feet or on the ground. Burkholder is going to be the better grappler in my opinion. If this fight stays on the feet, I see Burkholder finding a KO, TKO stoppage eventually at some point. I think it will come by first round. I think it's going to be in the first round, yeah. So I'm going to go with the Burkholder by first round. I'm going to say he gets, maybe he could get a club and sub. I'm going to say he gets TKO maybe, because that's the Gonzales problem. Maybe he's going to eat some ground and pound and go to sleep. I'm going to say Burkholder gets first round knockout, TKO stoppage, guys. That's my pick. Alright guys, next up we have the fight on the prelims. We have a bantamweight scrap between Carlos Rivera taking on Hondo Gutierrez. Let's go over the stats, guys. We have Carlos Rivera is 1-0 in his pro MMA career. He's had an amateur career also. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He's 27 years old, at 5 feet 9 inches tall. He trains at a Mars Jiu-Jitsu MMA Fitness. He's going to be taking on Hondo Gutierrez, who's 1-0 in his MMA career. He's had an amateur career also, 3 fights in amateurs. He's trains out of New Mexico, I think. No, he fights out of New Mexico. He's 5 feet 9 inches tall. He trains out of Fit NHB let's talk about the notes that I have on these guys. This is the last fight that I could find some tape on, and the other 3 fights that we have on the prelims, I wasn't really able to find any tape on those guys, and we're just gonna guess the next 3 fights who's gonna win. But let's go over the notes on this fight, guys. We have a Carlos Rivera first. He's had an amateur career with 6 fights. He went 4-2. He lost his first 2 amateur fights, but then he went on a 4-5 winning streak after in the amateurs. He went pro early this year. He was supposed to take on a Meredith, who's a very well-known prospect, undefeated prospect fighting in Bellator right now. But that fight was cancelled for some reason. In April this year, he took on a Velen Juela, who he was able to find a TKO stoppage over in the very first round by knockout. He has pretty good Muay Thai skills, which translates to him having good striking in MMA. He throws good leg kicks, body kicks, side kicks to the kneecaps. He does fight very well from the outside. He does win minutes in the fight, so he's gonna be, if this fight goes long, he's gonna be the one winning minutes, I think. He doesn't check leg kicks though. He does leave a lot of openings on the feet. He was knocked out in his first amateur fight, but he will try to get a takedown at the end of the round to put a stamp on the round if it's a close round. But his entries are not good enough for the takedown. His opponents are able to see the takedown coming from a mile away. But it's good to see him try to mix it in to give his opponents a different look. Both him and his opponent are 1-0 in their pro career. Rivera has shown good cardio while striking for full 3 rounds, but I'm not sure how his cardio is going to hold up if his opponent is trying to grapple him for the full 3 rounds. Let's talk about his opponent, Hondo Gutierrez, guys. His opponent, Hondo Gutierrez, is a young prospect who fights out of Mexico. He has been training in combat sports since a very young age, at age of 14 years old. He has also had an amateur career. He went 3-0 with all 3 finishes, with the 2 finishes via submission and 1 finished via knockout TKO. His first pro fight was earlier this year in March, where he got a first round submission. He did have 2 more fights booked, but they were cancelled for some reason. He had a fight booked against in August this year, but that was cancelled too. I don't know what happened there. He's a very dangerous with his grappling skills. He can strike just fine too, but he's trying to get the fight to the ground, or he's trying to find a submission. He's a submission grappler. I'm not too confident in this. A lot of people are super high on Rivera here, but Gutierrez is a young prospect, man. He's not a bad fighter, but I think Rivera's fought a little bit of a better competition. This is basically like a 50-50 fight, if I'm being honest, guys. But Gutierrez seems like a pretty young. I mean, he seems pretty green. He's fought guys with the 0-1. His last fight, fought a guy with the 3-2. Finished the 2-0 prospect with the Anaconda choke. I mean, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough fight to pick. People seem super confident on Rivera, but I don't know, man. I don't know who I want to pick. I might just take Hondo Gutierrez here for now. I might change my pick later, so join the Discord. I might change my pick later, but I think Hondo Gutierrez is a good prospect too, man. But his striking isn't all that crisp. I wasn't able to find any fight tape on him. Actually, I'm just gonna take Carlos Rivera by decision, guys. I don't know like how Hondo Gutierrez's striking is, because I wasn't able to find any fight tape on him. So I'll take Carlos Rivera by decision. That's my pick, guys. Let's go to the next one now, guys. Next up, we have Keynan Davis taking on Walter Saragosa. And I'm just going to pick Keynan Davis, guys. I wasn't able to find any fight tape on these 2 guys anywhere on YouTube or Fight Pass. But Keynan is 27 years old. His opponent, Walter Saragosa, is on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost 2 of his last fights by submission. So not a good look there for him. Both these guys have holes in submission grappling. But Walter Saragosa is a 23-year-old, so he's very young. Yeah, I really don't know who's going to win this fight, man. This is a 50-50 fight. But I'll just take a guy who's won more fights. I'll take Keynan Davis here by decision. Yeah, he's won majority of his fights by decision. So I'll take him by decision, guys. Next up, we have Austin Waterman versus Chad Polson. Another very low-level fight between these 2 guys, undefeated. This is a middleweight, so I don't know who's going to win this fight. I wasn't able to find any fight tape. A lot of people are very confident in Waterman here. So I'll just take Austin Waterman. He trains at a top-notch MMA. And his opponent Polson trains out of Trials MMA Fitness. 6-1 guy versus 6-2. Both of these guys don't have any wins. They're both going pro. This is their debut. I'll take Austin Waterman here by I'll say he gets it done by submission. Next up, guys. Next up, we have a gross fight. Very low level gross fight. We have Brittany Camozzi taking on Diana Sanchez, and I'll take Brittany Camozzi by decision, guys. She does have some finishes, but not really over anyone good. Danilo Sanchez has fought the better level of competition. She's fought in Invicta. She's fought in the Combat Global. Brittany's fought in LFA, but she was knocked out by Kelsey. Another very low level fight. I'll take the Factory X Muay Thai prospect Brittany Camozzi by decision. Next up, guys, we have a amateur. I'm not really gonna do any. I'll just go do the picks, but I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I'll take the LE Vice by KO TKO. That's my pick, guys. And for the next fight, I'll take Jacob Hill. I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I'll take Jacob Hill by decision. Okay, guys, those are my picks for the full card. And let me know who you guys have down below. I would love to hear back from you guys. And join the Discord, guys. I drop all my if I change any picks, I drop all my bets there. It's absolutely free, guys. And the link is in the bio to join the Discord. We have over 40 members in the Discord, and we have a very good MMA community there. Guys, we did very good on the UFC 294 card. We ended the night with plus 8 units in profit. So join the Discord, guys. It's absolutely free. And don't forget to like the video, guys, if you guys appreciate the content. I'm only the few people that's even making these predictions video for LFA. A lot of people don't even do these predictions videos. But I'll also be doing a predictions video for that Ryzen versus Bellator card. So if you guys want to see some predictions video for that card, join the Discord down below, guys. We also had bets for we cashed 2 bets on the Fury FC card. We had a parlay with the Gurule and Yanis, and we cashed the -102 parlay close to plus money. So join the Discord. You guys can see my bets there. And we also have a 5-leg parlay with Gurule and some other fighters on the UFC. I'll probably make a parlay for this card too. The only fights that I like so far, I like here's Talundzic. I think he's gonna beat Frunza. I'm gonna say here's gets a submission win by first round, and then I'm gonna say Myktybek gets Orolbai, gets a ground and pound TKO in the first round, and then we're gonna go with the Isaac Thomson by TKO in the second round, and then we're gonna go with the Bakhtiyar Uulu by decision, and then we're gonna go with the Bosnian bombshell by decision, and next we're gonna go with the Jordan Burkholder by first round, maybe TKO or submission. Next fight we're gonna go with the Carlos Rivera by decision, I think. Next fight we're gonna go with Keynan Davis. Next fight we're gonna go with the Austin Waterman by decision or maybe submission. Next fight we're gonna take Brittany Camozzi by decision. And the next fight are just amateurs, so we don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I don't know any of these two fighters' names. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. This video is already too long. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers. We only need like 40 more subscribers to get to I think 400. So if you guys appreciate the grind, appreciate the work that I do, I had to take notes. It took me like 5-6 hours to do tape study on the main card fighters. And if you guys want to parlay, the only parlay that I like is here's Talundzic and with the Orolbai. Both of these guys, if you can get really good money line on both of these guys, parlay that together, and that's gonna cash for sure. Or maybe you can go with the Orolbai and Uulu, both of the Kyrgyzstan parlay. I like that Kyrgyzstan parlay. Okay, guys, those are my picks. Let me know who you have down below. I would love to hear back from you guys. I gotta make timestamps for these fights now, and that's gonna take me a while, and then I gotta go to sleep. I'm pretty tired. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Take care of yourself, stay safe out there, and I'll probably be doing a live stream for these fights. So join me join me for the fight companion, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.